folks, this is Vincent Natalie with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to play Back to the Future Dice Through Time. This game supports 2 to 4 players, it's for ages 10 and up, and it doesn't look like there's any average play time on the box, but my guess would be around an hour to 2 hours, something like that. Especially if it's your first time playing, which it is our first time playing, there may be some roll goofs. So, what is this game all about? Well, it's a Back to the Future cooperative game where players are going to be working together to return misplaced items. The theme here is Biff has gone through time, stolen items all over the place, and it's our job to find these items and return them to their correct locations. If we can return all of the items in these piles here before the out of time marker reaches the 12 space, then we win the game. However, if the out of time marker reaches 12 before we can do that, before we can return all of these items, then we are erased from existence. So, how is the game typically played? Well, what you're going to do is you're going to set up the board like so. There are Biff standees and there's start spaces for each of the different Biff standees. They're not all Biff technically, because this is Mad Dog. I'm not going to get, I'm a Back to the Future fan, so technically he's not a Biff. But anyway. So anyway, there are 4 timelines. There's 1885, the Old West from Back to the Future Part 3. There's 1955, there's 1985, and 2015 from the second Back to the Future movie. And of course, these two are from the iconic first movie. Each player is going to choose a color, and you're going to get a DeLorean of that color, and you're going to start on the clock tower space of that color. Very neon-y, because, 80s. Anyway, you're going to have a bunch of event cards here. You're going to shuffle those up and put them up here. Your out-of-time marker starts at 0. You're going to deal out a number of items for each of the 4 timelines, depending on your preferred difficulty. You're going to use 2 per space for a very easy game. I don't think it's going to be that easy, honestly. The normal game, I think, is 3 cards per pile, and if you want to get it even harder, there's 4 cards per pile or 5 cards per pile. So you can increase the difficulty by adding more items that you need to return in order to win the game. You're going to have the first player marker here, which is just this steering wheel with the odometer on it, and then you've got paradox tokens, which will advance this out of time marker, and then you've got Einstein tokens, which are rewards. They're one-time rewards that we can use to help us do things. Each player, again, gets a color. We get a player board, and we get dice, 4 dice of our color, and there's different symbols on them. I'll just go ahead and show you this real quick. So the different dice that are available, there's this flux capacitor, spend to move to the same location in any other year. So basically it allows you to move vertically along the board. Otherwise you'd just simply be moving horizontally. So the flux capacitor lets you move through time vertically. The lightning bolt symbol lets you re-roll any unspent dice. The wrench is a wild. You can use it as any of the other dice results. You can use the arrow to move to any location horizontally along that same year. So I can move over here, or I can move over here. The fist moves Biff from his current location to a location of your choice. And this is important because Biff will stop you from completing events at that location, which I'll get into in a little bit. There's Doc Brown here, which spend to remove any 2 paradox tokens from the board. Paradox tokens are bad. They will advance this marker, and again, when this reaches the end here, we end up losing the game. You can spend any of your dice results to just move 1 space horizontally. Okay? Mr. Fusion, spend any 2 matching dice to use any result. So basically, it's a wrench. Again, the wrench is a wild, or you could just spend 2 dice of the same kind. So I can spend 2 flux capacitors in order to make it a fist or anything else I want. Okay? There's a little items to return section here. Each player can hold 2 of these items at any one time, and then in order to return them, we're going to move to its preferred location on the board. When we reveal one, it might be return this, I don't know, whatever, that looks like boots down there from Back to the Future Part 2, the self-lacing boots. So if we find that item somewhere in the other 3 timelines, we would have to bring our DeLorean over to it and then discard our item card to return it to its time. And that's what we're trying to do in order to win the game. Okay? So we can hold a max of 2 items at a time, basically. So how does the flow of play work? Well, the game is broken up over several rounds, and again, we're cooperating. We're going to draw and place event cards. The number you draw is dependent on the number of people playing. In a 2-player game, you draw 3, and typically they would go in its matching spot. And these events are bad because they will advance the out-of-time marker and gain paradox tokens over the course of time, furthering how quickly this climbs the tracker. But you're going to draw 3 cards in a 2-player game, resolve them, put them down where they need to go. Some locations can have more than one event. And just to show you what that looks like, let me just grab one of the bottom ones. Okay, so the Brown Mansion here, it says 1955, and the Brown Mansion, it would be placed here. And we would try to move over to that location in order to complete the event. There's a little symbol in the upper left-hand corner of the card. You'll be able to roll dice at some point, which I'll get to, in order to complete these events. And completing events allows you to draw an item, and then, again, the items need to be returned in order to win the game. So events will come up during the first phase of a round. The second one is roll dice. Each player rolls their dice separately, and that's what they get. If they happen to have any dice on the board, because of rippling, which I'll get into, they can take them back at that point in time. Then perform actions. Players in turn order, starting with the first player, will take their dice and spend their actions as they'd like. And then number 4 is advance the out-of-time marker, which is this here. Number 5, add paradox tokens. The way you would advance the out-of-time marker, you're going to look at the year that has the most unresolved events on it. And then you're going to count that many events. So if this had 3 events, 2, 2, and 1, you would go 1, 2, 3, and then you advance the out-of-time marker 3 spaces. If there were any paradox tokens here, you would also add that to that total. So again, events bad, paradox tokens bad. How are paradox tokens added? Step 5. During that current year, the year that you just observed, to advance the out-of-time marker, if there are any events at that point that don't have a paradox token, you're going to add one. And each location can only have 1 paradox token on it. So again, those are bad. And then finally, you pass the first player marker over to the next player, and then you keep going. So what is rippling dice? I mentioned that earlier. So to help you complete events, let's say that Idly had 2 events on this particular section of the timeline. I am here, and she is here. What I can do is I can drop off dice. I can just not spend them. I can put dice here, and then on her turn, because these dice are in the past, they will ripple forward, and she could use them in addition to her dice to help her complete events at that location. Dice cannot ripple backwards, however. So if she were here and she was trying to complete an event at that location, dice do not ripple backward because they would not have been there yet. Just like you would observe in all, today's science. It just makes sense. So you can only ripple dice forward to help people complete events. I'm sure there is 1 or 2 other things that I skimmed over, but that's the gist of it. Okay, so I am the first player. We're going to go ahead and give this a shot. So the first round, draw and place event cards. So we draw 3. So let's start with this one. Struck by lightning. Each player moves to the next year down, keeping the same relative location. Players in 2015 will move to 1885. So you go there, and I go there. That's 1. Next one, Doc saves Marty at the clock tower. Oh, you're there. Okay, so we're going to put that right there. Mm-hmm. You need a Doc Brown and a lightning bolt symbol in order to resolve that one. And we've got Doc introduces the DeLorean time machine to Marty. Twin Pines Mall, 1985. Whenever you see the little chicken symbol, that means Biff will move to that location. So, it's Marty's house. Twin Pines Mall is over here, so the Biff standee goes there. Oh, interesting. So I need to kick him out of that spot. So it looks like we're in the right time. Now we just need to resolve these. So the next thing is roll dice. Let's go ahead and take our dice and roll them. Hopefully we get some good results. I got a lightning bolt, 2 Doc Browns, and a wrench.
2 fluxes and an arrow. What was that one again?
What's this one?
What, that one?
This one?
Face up, yeah.
That was move our DeLoreans.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right, so with me being the first player, I got to figure out what to do. I got 2 Doc Browns, and the Doc Browns spend to remove any 2 Paradox tokens. There are none, so I might as well... I can either use the lightning bolt symbol to re-roll them, or I can use these 2 to take the place of any other action. I guess what I could do is... I could spend 2 Doc Browns to treat this as an arrow, so that I can come over here. But I would, before I could try and complete this, I would have to get Biff out of the way. Okay, so that might actually work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these 2 Doc Brown dice as an arrow to move over here. I'm going to use the wrench as a fist to move Biff out of the way. I'm just going to put him over here. And then the lightning bolt symbol to complete that card, which is Doc introduces the time machine to Marty. So all of these dice come back to me because I've used them.
What is that?
That is the chicken symbol.
Oh,
and Biff will move there whenever you draw it. Oh. So this event is done. It goes into the discard pile. And because I completed an event at that location, I'm going to draw an item from 1985, and it is the Sports Almanac, and as we know, Biff stole it in the second movie. Return to Blast from the Past, which is down here. So I need to get my DeLorean down here in order to return that item. So that's one of the 2 items that I have, and it is now your turn.
So what is this star icon up here?
That's just part of the graphic. That's Doc Brown shooting the rope that is hanging on.
Didn't even see
that is just part of the art.
Wow.
No gameplay effect.
Never mind.
Mm-hmm.
I feel stupid.
So you've got 2 arrows and 2 flux capacitors.
I think I can do them both, right? I can change this symbol.
Oh yeah, you can Mr. Fusion both of them, right?
Yeah.
So this is going to be Doc, and this is going to be the lightning bolt.
So that's not like one time, right? That's like any time, any.
Yeah, no, that any on your board is spend any 1 single die.
I meant Mr. Fusion.
Yeah, Mr. Fusion. It says spend any 2 matching dice to use any result.
So it's not like a one-time thing. It's
as far as I can tell, no.
Cool. All right.
So I would say this is done.
Yep.
So you get an item from 1885.
Cool.
And it is the case of plutonium, which we know is what Doc used in 1955 to power the DeLorean in the first place.
That's what he stole and got shot.
Or 1985, not 1955. So it would be somewhere down. Yep, Doc's lab. So you need to return it down here. So that's one of the 2 items that you have. That's right. 1955 was when Marty went back to save his dad and get his mom and dad back together and all that good stuff.
Why are these 1885 and then... Oh, they're just random?
Yeah, like you're not... Yeah, so the premise is Biff stole the time machine, took items from one year, and moved them to a different year. So you're going to find 2015 in this deck maybe, or 1985, and so on.
Alright, cool.
It's akin to the second movie when he stole the almanac. Remember when he stole the sports almanac, went into the past and gave it to himself, and he got rich?
Yeah.
That's kind of what is going on here. He's messing with the timeline.
Yeah, okay. And Han Solo was in there.
Yes, Han Solo. Yes, Luke Skywalker battled Darth Vader at the Brown Mansion.
Yeah.
And I distinctly remember Captain Kirk beaming down to Hilldale to battle the Klingons.
I see.
Yes, I remember this.
Very good.
Indiana Jones grabbed the idol at Lou's Cafe. I remember that. And Admiral Adama took the Battlestar Galactica and landed it in Doc's lab. No, was it from this? I think it was the Skyway.
I actually love this fan fiction right
yes,
now.
I think Reddit's having a conniption right now. Okay, so I think we completed our actions. Next, we advance the out of time marker. Luckily, there's no events, so out of all the years, there's 0, 0, 0, 0. This does not move up at all. That's good. Add paradox tokens. No events are existing. There's no current year to observe or anything, so we skip that. Pass the first player marker. That goes over to you. So while in between rounds, this is a quick look at the boxed insert for those of you that are curious. I forgot to show that to you earlier. Extra dice. These are the other items that we're not using. Okay, and the other DeLoreans. Alright, so now we draw and place event cards. Alright, so Griff tries to recruit Marty Jr. That was in 2015 at the Cafe 80s, I think? Yeah. So that goes there. And the next event is Skateboard Chase in Courthouse Square, 1955 at Lou's Cafe. And the next one is Doc Builds the DeLorean, 1985.
That's
Doc's
a lot
one.
of events.
That is 3 events. So yeah, we're gonna have a
So what happens if I land here to return an item, but there's an event there?
You have to complete this first before you can return the item. This space has to be blank. Biff has to be gone, and no events can occur.
Okay.
There's a chicken thing here. I'm gonna move Biff over. Bless you. Great.
Okay, sorry.
Bless you. All right. So next we roll dice. All right. I got 2 Doc Browns. I got a wrench and a fist. So what I could do, you're the first player though, so you get to go first.
Okay.
Do you have a flux capacitor at all or no?
I do not.
You have 2 lightning bolt symbols.
Yeah.
You can either re-roll dice or you can use it as a flux capacitor to move to a different time, and then use the arrow to move to a location.
I am going to re-roll. Right? Can I do that?
Well, let's. You do you. Whatever you want to do. If it were me, what I would do is I would use the 2 lightning bolts to move to. What year are you trying to get to? What event are you trying to do? Let me just coordinate real quick. I've got 2 Doc Brown symbols. I can spend one of them to move here. Like I could complete this event. So if you can hold off on coming down here to return the item, I can complete this.
Okay.
Because I could use a Doc Brown to move.
Okay.
I can use the fist to knock him out of the way, and I can use the other Doc Brown symbol that I have to
Okay.
to get rid of it. So I could do that event now, or on my turn once you take yours.
So what I can do in preparation for the next turn is just move here, right?
Or you can move to a different timeline and attempt to land on these spaces to
that's
try
right.
and do them.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I'm just. It's up to you. If you use 2 lightning bolt symbols to move here, and then your arrow to move here, you could use your wrench to move Biff out of the way, and that would prep you to complete this event on a future turn.
Whoa.
You do you. I'm just.
Wait,
I'm just coming up with ideas.
lightning bolt to use it as a flux capacitor to move here.
Correct.
You said.
Mm-hmm.
And then arrow to move Biff.
To move you over here to Biff.
Okay.
So you would go bing,
Yeah.
bing.
But how am I gonna move Biff now?
Your wrench could be used as a wild.
Okay.
So you would.
But
move,
so I wouldn't be able to complete.
You
that.
wouldn't complete the event, but
I'll
you would be
just
prepping for it for the next
I
turn.
see. Okay.
Or again, if you want to, I don't know if I can. Can you do this event as is?
No.
I don't think so. No matter what year you move to, you cannot complete an event. Is that? If you were to come down here to Lou's Cafe,
Wait.
could you do that one? No, because that needs a wrench and a dock.
Yeah. Or I could. Hold on. Or I could just. What if I moved Biff? Oh, well, no.
If you end up landing here and don't move away from it, then I can't complete it.
Yeah, I was just thinking of moving here and moving Biff for you so that you can have more dice to do things. After completing.
Yeah, I'm thinking,
that
what would I do? If you were to land, you would have to land here though to move Biff out of the way. You would have to move down, then over.
Oh, so you have to land to.
In order to interact with that space, you have to be there.
I see.
If you're there, you'd have to move away again for me to get over here to do what I need to do.
Okay.
Otherwise, we take the out of time
Yeah.
penalty of 2 spaces.
Okay.
So I would say either prep yourself for another one, like maybe come down here, move Biff out of the way, and try and do this one later, or maybe move yourself here. You could leave behind, I think, the wrench for a future roll. I don't know.
I might just do what you were saying the first time.
I don't want to monopolize the game and be the alpha gamer here.
No.
So it's whatever
You're
you.
fine. You're the pro gamer.
No.
So what if I use that as a flux?
You can risk it
right?
and re-roll if you really wanted to.
I don't want to do that. It's rude.
So you're gonna use this as a flux to
Yeah.
move down here.
And then move.
The arrow to move over here.
Yeah. And then move the wrench.
Use the
it
wrench as the
a
fist. to move him? Where would you like to move
Punch
him?
him in the face.
Preferably not here, because if I ever want to move here, the almanac is here. So I would say
maybe the first one. Yeah. That's what I was
So
thinking.
now you're prepped for the next turn. You can try and complete that event. Mine is going to be use 1 Doc Brown to move over 1. That's 1. Then I'm going to use...
Wait a second. You use Doc Brown?
Remember, you can spend any single die to move to an adjacent location of the same year. I used 1 die to move to the left. Now I'm going to use a fist to knock him out of the way. So I'm just going to put him over here. Next, I've got another Doc Brown, and that completes this event. So that would... Let's see. So this would come here, and I would get a item from 1985. And this is the last item from 1985. This is a hoverboard, which I have to return to 2015 to the Clock Tower Mall. That goes over here. And I'm at my limit of 2, so I really need to drop 1 off. I've got a wrench left, so I think what I may want to do is use it as a flux capacitor to set myself up for a future... I think I need to start returning items in 2015. So actually, you know what? I am going to use my wrench to move as a flux capacitor. I am now at this blast from the past location. I can now return the sports almanac to that location, and that is one of the items that we had to return. So now, what we're going to do is we get to move the out of time marker to the left 1, which we don't need to because it's already at 0. We also get a free Einstein token. And these are just die faces, and we can use these as a one-time bonus to either take actions or to use them as symbols for these events to resolve them.
Nice. Can you use them as a fusion or an any?
I would assume so, yes.
Really? That's disgusting.
All right, so my turn is over. So now we go to advance out of time marker. So now we look at the year that has the most events on them. And I think in case of a tie, it's the year that's earliest. Let's see if they're more... Still no. Contains...
It's none.
If 2 years are tied, count the paradox tokens and events in the earliest year. So it would be 1955 is the earliest year with an event on it. There's an event here, an event here. This is the earliest year, so we would move the out-of-time marker up by 1.
Really? So it doesn't cancel each other out?
No, unfortunately not. 2 paradoxes don't make a right.
I see.
Now we add the paradox tokens to that year that don't have any. This doesn't have any on it, so we would add a paradox token. In the future, whenever this is considered, this would add 2 to that out-of-time tracker.
Nasty.
So I want to get up there and try and do this, I think, at some point. All right, so next we have...
Drawn place events.
Draw and place events. So it is the Lou's Cafe. Oh boy. It's another one. This is going to be a tough one.
We have to go from order, right? Like from top to bottom card?
No, it's all at once. If there are more than one event, if there's more than one event at a location, you have to get all of the matching symbols. So at some point, I may want to come here and ripple dice forward to help, or vice versa, to help us complete that. So that's 1. Next is the High Valley School in 1985. So that would be over here.
Okay.
And next is Hilldale 2015.
Ooh, this is stacking.
Yes. Rehydrated pizza.
This does not bode well for my return item.
All right, so we drew the 3 events, and we're going to roll dice.
Okay.
All right, so I've got a variety of things going on here. Okay, so as the first player, let's see what I can do. We would need an arrow, we would need a wrench, and a Doc Brown. I've got all 3. I just don't have a way to get over there without spending... What I could do is... Alright, so do we...
I have a wrench, but that's it. I could...
You're here.
Yeah.
You have a flux capacitor and can easily move here. I think I need to set you up to complete that objective.
How would you even... You'd have to come over here and beat Biff out of the way.
No, I can still lay dice down to ripple forward with Biff just simply prevents you from doing events at that location. So what I could do is I could use the flux capacitor to move back to the blacksmith. I could use my arrow to move over here. I could drop Doc Brown in the wrench to, you know what? You know what we could do? And this is just me thinking out loud. Rather than do all that, I can use this movement token as this symbol. So what I could do is use my arrow, come up here, use the arrow to come up here. Flux capacitor to move up here.
Okay.
Arrow to move here. Doc Brown, wrench, and token to complete all cards, get rid of the paradox, and then that would free you up to do whatever you wanted to do for your turn.
Amazing.
So that way we wouldn't be double teaming something, but that means we would have to use this.
Yeah. I'm all for that.
You're fine with that? Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to spend flux capacitor, arrow, and then this token along with these 2 dice that I have over here to complete both of these cards. Now, whenever you complete, even if you complete 2 cards, you only draw 1. You also remove any paradox tokens from that location. I draw 1 item card from 1955. It happens to be a "you're fired, I'm fired, I have to return that to Hilldale down here. Alright, and that is the end of my turn.
Okay.
I cannot be fired, I'm fired. Sorry.
I think I'm... Oh, Lord. I think...
What am I going to tell Jennifer? This is heavy.
I'm going to use a wrench to just clear that event out of the way. Wait, do you get an item for... Oh, yeah.
I did. Oh, I also... Yeah, that's it. I got my item. So you're going to use a wrench to just complete this right now? Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Okay, so this wrench is just going to be used here. And that gets rid of this one. Griff tries to recruit Marty. You get an item from 2015, which is Lorraine's dress, which you have to return to 1955 at the high school.
Oh, Jesus.
Now we're at our max of 2, so we really need to return items before we can draw.
Didn't you return one already?
I did. But I got another one for completing this.
Yeah, but you returned 1 already.
Yeah.
So where's that 1?
It's gone. It's out of the game. Whenever you return items, you return them to the box.
How did you get 2?
I had 2 to begin with. I returned 1, and then I completed this set of events, and now I'm back up to 2 again.
Okay, sure. Alright,
You're not thinking 4th dimensionally!
I'm not! Alright. So, I will...
This goes away. Out of the game.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you did the wrench. You have items to return. If you try and complete any objectives, and now do you have a 2015 there or no? You have 1955 and 1985. Where do you have to go for these?
There and there.
So you have a better chance of going to Doc Brown's location.
Yeah, but I also kind of want to punch Biff out of the way to set you up, because you've been completing these things like crazy.
No. Here's the thing. Well, no, here's the thing though. If you move to a different time, you land on me and we move 2 spaces.
Yeah, that's true.
So you may end up having to
I guess I'll just return that, because we can only have 2 items max.
Correct.
Right?
So any events that you complete now would not bode well. Unless you complete... Even if we complete an event here, which you could, it would only be to stall the out-of-time tracker.
Yeah.
But if you were to use the flux capacitor to move here, and then your wrench as an arrow to move here, you could...
Or can I do this? Can I do my wrench as an arrow to move here, and then my flux capacitor?
Yes, you could absolutely do that. Yes, absolutely. You could totally do that. So go ahead and return your item, which is the plutonium. Einstein token comes out and is Doc Brown. So anytime we need a Doc Brown, we've got it. The out-of-time tracker goes back by 1, so we're back down to 0 again. Okay.
Man, I wish I could...
Now you've got a free fist to use. Again, you can use a die to move 1 space. So is there a column that you want to set yourself up for? I don't think it's either
Not
here
really.
or here.
It doesn't really matter.
I would say.
No, because you could land in those.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have a return item for this one for sure. So.
Right. I've got both of mine are in 2015.
So this will be a waste.
Okay. So next we advance the out of time marker. So we pick a row. This one is the earliest in time, and they both have 1. So earliest in time, it's 1. Now it gets a paradox token, and pass the first player. Oh, you.
Okay. Draw in place of end cards.
Draw in place of end cards. Let's see what comes up this time. Something wrong with the starter. Players roll 1 less die this round. Oof.
Oh, just this round, right?
Great Scott! After rolling dice this round, all players must re-roll all flux icon results. Keep the second result.
Wow.
Marty and Jennifer take a walk. 1985. Lucky for me, I'm not actually. You're right there. So you might.
I should have moved there. Dang it.
That's all right. So now we roll 1 less die.
Yep. And any fluxes we have to get rid of.
Yeah. Or re-roll.
Re-roll.
Okay, I do not have any.
No, me neither. Okay.
Wrenches are good though.
This is.
So you're the first player. So how do you want to handle this? You've got.
What I can do.
You've got a wrench.
I have a couple options.
Okay.
So what I can do.
You tell me.
I can use this as a arrow, and use these bonuses to get rid of that one, or I can use this as an arrow, go all the way over here, punch Biff out of the way, and clear that.
I would clear this because it has a paradox token.
Yeah.
This entire row is going to generate 3 on it.
That's what I'm gonna do then. So from here.
Wrench to move.
I used wrench to move. Fist to punch him in the face.
Fist to punch.
Put him.
Does anyone need to return?
I would actually put it here because
since we've already returned that item.
Yeah, there's an item that's returned already. There.
Okay, and then you're going to use your other wrench
to clear that as an arrow.
Okay.
And that's it.
Now the downside is you don't get an item because there's none here, but you help to stall the tracker.
And plus, it makes me adjacent to what I need to return anyways.
Okay, so these go away, and that goes away. All right, good job. So now my turn.
Yeah.
I need to start returning things. So the downside is I don't have anything that could take me to a different timeline. I have a Doc Brown which can be used to remove. I may just use.
There's also this too.
Oh yeah, but so I could use the token in that to move down here. I don't know if it would be really good. I would say use my lightning bolt and re-roll these 2 dice, but like my dice roll right now is just this is terrible. I need to get down here for sure so I can start returning items. So at the very least I need to set myself up for that. I could use the movement die to, let's see, I need to return the hoverboard, which is here, and I need to.
Hold on, I have a question.
Okay.
Why couldn't you use that arrow to move here?
Yeah.
And then spend your dice as a flux and move down here, and then use this and the lightning
how would I
bolt.
spend my dice as a flux?
Because
I don't have a flux.
You can spend any single dice. Oh, I meant as an any. I meant
The any is
to move.
adjacent at horizontal only. It does not move me vertically. The any spend a die.
Oh, in the same year. Okay.
It has to be one spot to either side. It does not go up, down, or up or down.
That's
only
nice.
left. Only yeah. So I think what I need to do is re-roll a die and hope that I get either a wrench or a flux.
So the any is just like an arrow.
No.
Any single die to move. Oh, it's like an arrow except one space.
Correct. It's an arrow except it's one space.
Okay, I see.
Okay. So I may use the lightning bolt to. I mean, I have no other choice. So use the lightning bolt to re-roll. I need to get a flux capacitor to move down here and start returning items.
But you can't because any flux capacitors you have to re-roll.
No, that's only. It just says after rolling dice this round. So that's already done. We've already rolled our dice for this round.
So it doesn't count as re-rolls.
I don't think it does. But if I'm wrong, shoot me.
All right, casual.
Okay. I wonder if you can use a token as a... I mean, I could use that symbol. I don't know if I can do this, but I could use...
That's what I was thinking.
Use it as the flux to move down here, and then use the arrow to move here and return an item. I think...
Yeah, I think you can
All right.
do that. I don't see why you wouldn't be able
I think we should. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use this and this
as a flux.
as a flux, and then my arrow to move here. That will
Return
the hoverboard. A new Einstein token comes out.
Cool.
It's a lightning bolt symbol, and this moves over to 0.
Cool.
All right. And I think that's all I can do. And then this something went wrong card goes discard pile. And I think... Okay. So now we reveal... Oh, wait. Advance out of time marker. Earliest time, 1, 1. Yeah, so it goes up by 1. Paradox, you got it. You know what you're doing. Okay, new events. Let's see what's coming up. We've got Enchantment Under the Sea Dance, which is Hill Valley High School. Right there. We've got Marty Skateboards to School in 1985, Marty's house.
55. In Western culture, the skateboards.
I'm going to clean up this. Immediately remove all events at one location. You do not gain an item for this.
Is that a chicken?
That is a chicken.
Okay.
So what we could do is, why don't we use this card,
Wait, what?
immediately remove all events at one location.
Ah.
So I'm thinking, get rid of the paradox one so we don't have to worry about it. Unless you are going to address this because you are on this timeline.
Man. I can't return an item until that event is done, right?
Correct. This needs to be taken care of before you can return it. I would say, you know what? Use this card to get rid of... There's no more items here.
Yeah.
So we just use the free removal to get rid of this, start going to other times and collecting these other items.
Yeah.
So this is gone.
Yeah.
I know, I feel like I'm taking over.
No, you're good. You know how to play this.
So there's that. So that we're done. So now we roll our dice. At least we can roll 4 this time. 2 Doc Browns, a Flux, and a Lightning Bolt symbol. Alright, as the first player, what am I going to do? I need to get over here so that I can work on this. So, Problem is, I don't have a way to move Biff out of that location. I could use my Lightning Bolt symbol to re-roll dice and hope that I get something better. I also need a wrench to complete this objective.
There's a lightning bolt here as well.
Yeah. So but I would still need to move Biff out of the way. What I could do, and this is overkill. I could use 2 lightnings, lightning, as an arrow to move here. No.
I can only see you completing this one.
Yeah, I need to return an item here though.
Oh.
So I'm trying to get this out of the way while I'm down here. If I use the flux to move once and another dock to move again, that brings me here. And then I use 2 lightning bolts as a fist to move him out of the way, and then I've got but I don't have another wrench.
Yeah.
So it's like
just set yourself up.
That would be 2. It's either that or move to it. Again, I could use my lightning bolt to re-roll dice and hope for something better. I could move to a different time altogether. Maybe go after this one, but I don't have a move.
That one I'm going to do.
Oh, you're going to do that one.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'd say I guess I'll just set myself up down here as best I can. I'll move to this location, and well, you know what? I'm going to re-roll dice actually. Yeah, I'm gonna. Well, if or I can move twice with these 2, and then use these 2 to move Biff. That way I can hopefully get what I need for the next turn to complete it. I could do that.
Up to you.
Yeah, out of everything else to do, I think that's the...
There's also a lightning bolt here, don't forget that.
Yeah, but there's nothing for me to really... I guess we'll save that for an event. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna spend these 2 as a punch to move him out of the way. I'll put him there. And this will set me up for the next turn to complete this event and return this item. So it stinks that I couldn't get to it, but, you know.
I feel like there was a way. I feel like there was a way.
Not from here. I don't have an arrow to move. I would need 2 dice to move over here. Anyway. And that would leave me with 3 dice left. And I don't have a fist to move him out of the way. So I needed 2 dice to use as a fist. And I need 2 dice to resolve this. So I don't have enough. I don't have 6 dice
and you were right here?
Yes. 2 to move, 2 to move him, and 2 to resolve it. That's a total of 6 dice I would need. I've only got 5, including this token. So I don't have enough dice anyway.
That stinks.
So I just need to set myself up for the next turn.
Okay.
So I'm done, and now you can do your thing.
Okay.
You've got dock, move, wrench, flux.
What I'm gonna do is take the flux, put him up there.
Okay.
Take the wrench, punch him in the face, put him like over here or something.
Do we return anything in 1955?
We only returned this thing here.
The skateboard?
Yeah.
I think we.
That was your skateboard.
No, that was the hoverboard.
Oh.
We haven't returned anything,
Right.
so it doesn't matter.
And then the fist to complete that.
The fist?
I mean,
the arrow?
The arrow.
Okay. So this is done, and you get an item. This is Marty's skateboard from 1985.
Oh, there?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay. And can I return this item at the same time?
Yes.
Cool.
And that would give you an Einstein token. It's a wrench. That's a good one.
Actually, can I... Oh, man, that would have been so good. Oh, but you're...
Yeah, I'm here, so...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we did not return an item, so... Did we return... Oh, you returned an item, so this would come down by 1.
Oh, nice. I'm trying to think if I could do anything else. Lightning bolt. To remove any 2 paradoxes. There's no 2 paradoxes. I guess we'll just...
1.21 gigawatts!
I'm gonna...
1.21 gigawatts!
I'm gonna use him. Something in there.
Okay.
Good job.
Anyway, all right. So you did what you needed to do, right?
Yeah.
All right.
So now it's your turn.
Well, I already moved. So now we go advance. 1. We add a paradox here.
Yeah.
And
pass the wheel.
Pass the wheel. And 3 events.
3 events.
All right. Hoverboard chase at the clock tower.
Oh, thank goodness.
Lightning strikes the clock tower.
Okay. Not too shabby.
And you can accomplish anything. After rolling, players may re-roll any number of their dice once.
I moved Biff there because there's a chicken there.
Okay, cool.
Is that a chicken?
That is a chicken. Looks like a rooster.
From this angle, it just looks like I don't even know, a pot of gold.
Maybe it is a pot of gold. All right, so you're the first player. So how do you want to handle this?
I gotta roll dice first.
Me too. It says here, after rolling, players may re-roll any number of their dice once.
Oh, really? Okay. Any number, huh?
I've got 2 fists. Let's talk about this first.
Yeah. I'm gonna try and get that one out of the way.
All right.
The one underneath me, so that I can also return that item.
Let's see what I need for this. I need a wrench and a dock.
There's a wrench here.
And I could turn 2 fists into a dock.
Or 2 lightning bolts into a dock, either way. I guess the fists would make more sense.
Yeah, save the tokens for when we actually need them.
Yeah.
So I could complete this, then return this item, and get another item. So I think I'm going to keep my dice as is. Although I may want to re-roll the lightning bolt symbol per this card, so that I can then flux to a different time period if I needed to. So I'm going to re-roll the lightning bolt symbol. It's an arrow. That's good. I can then move to a different spot. Okay. So, do you want to re-roll any of your dice?
I might actually re-roll the Doc Brown one.
Do you need Doc Brown for anything that you're doing?
No.
Doc Brown, when you use them, removes... Are you going to do this one?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Doc Brown removes paradox tokens.
Yeah, but
if you're going to complete the event...
2 of them, and I want to complete that event.
So it doesn't matter. Right. Okay, so yeah, if you're not going to use the Doc Brown, then you might as well re-roll. That's another Doc Brown. Okay. Well... We try.
Okay, that's fine. All right, so
you're the
what I
first
wanna
player.
do-
You've got a flux?
I do not have a flux, but I want to use this as a flux.
Okay,
wrench
so use the wrench.
to go down there.
Okay.
Use the fist, punch him in the face, bring him over there, sure, and use this wrench to clear it,
Okay.
and that gets cleared, right? This.
It does. Now I can't complete mine.
Why?
Because I need a wrench for... No, you're fine. You're fine. Before you do anything, though,
Well,
you
could
could ripple
use
dice.
fists for the wrench, right?
I don't have a... I need a Doc Brown and a wrench. I have neither.
Dang.
But it's alright. No. I got an idea. Bear with me.
Okay.
You completed an event at this location, but...
No, because if I can't... Which event was that? Put that back there.
No, it's alright, because you have to return the skateboard anyway.
No, the event is not completed. Biff has to go back.
Why?
Because, look, I had these two, right?
Right.
I used the wrench as a flux capacitor to go down. I used the wrench to go down.
And then you use the token.
Yeah, but you need that.
No. I got an idea.
Okay.
I got an idea.
Okay, so tell me your idea.
Okay, so again, you can ripple dice. So if you use your wrench as the flux capacitor to move down,
Okay.
use your fist to punch him out of the way.
Okay.
Then use the wrench here to resolve this.
Okay.
That takes care of that. You've got the Doc Brown left.
Yeah.
And the arrow. You could use your move here, ripple the die, or you ripple the Doc Brown die so I can use it in the future.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
So
Okay.
your Doc Brown would go here.
Okay, and
So
I wanted to return my item.
Okay, yeah, so we completed this event and you return the item.
Okay, so we get another bonus?
You get another bonus and this goes back to 0.
Did I just do that? I think I put the wrench in the thing.
It's alright.
My bad. Let me take that.
Just take one wrench out and...
Yeah. Okay, I gotta mix. Doesn't matter. Lightning bolt.
Lightning bolts.
One
Okay,
lightning bolt.
great. Okay, so... Alright, my turn. I'm going to go ahead and just use these two fists as a wrench and your Doc Brown die for this, and that completes this.
That you said your dog Brown died.
No, he did not die. Mine's still alive, though. So I'm going to return... I get to draw an item for completing that event. It's Marty's letter from 1955. It has to go to Lou's Cafe. This fax is now returned.
So this gets one?
Yes, we get a new event, or new
Thingy.
token.
Okay.
Einstein token. And that leaves me with a flux and a move.
Nice.
So I think what I want to do is flux up here and move here while I can to return Marty's letter. And this will also get us another thing. We're at the 0.
Another wrench.
So all we need to do now is get the final item in 1885 and we win the game. We need to get it, return it, and that's it. So we're doing pretty darn good right now.
So it's your turn, right?
Yeah. So now we have to do the
Event.
advanced time.
Oh yeah, that's right. I keep forgetting.
So it's 1 and paradox, okay? And
now event cards.
now event cards. All right, let's see. Immediately reduce the out of time tracker by 2.
Oh wow, nice.
That's nice for us. George and Lorraine kiss. Remove all paradox tokens from the board.
Whoa.
That's also good for us.
Some good luck.
And lastly, Marty buys the sports almanac, blast from the past. Okay. So, unfortunately, in order to get this item, we need to complete events in 1885, but there's nothing to complete.
Yeah.
So we just have to do some...
Clearing.
Yeah, clearing to just maintain the timeline for a while until stuff pops up in 1885. Okay, so now we roll dice. All right, so I got 2 wrenches, an arrow, and a fist, which is good. So what I could do is lightning bolt. I could use one of those and a move. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I want to. This is going to advance the out of time tracker by 2. Having these 2 down here, I'm going to use a wrench as a flux, to move down here. I am then going to use a fist as a movement to move here. I am then going to use, well, I could just use the wrench and I can save that token. I guess the question is, should I save my movement and maybe move here and address that on my next turn? So what I could do is I could use one of the lightning bolt symbols and the move like this to get rid of it. That leaves me with one wrench still. I could then travel over here to address this later. I could then maybe come back here and address that.
You could...
I think what I want to do is come back here because when we compare the two timelines for the paradox, whatever timeline is advanced, this is going to get a paradox token before this one is. So I'm going to use my wrench to move back in time, address that, because a paradox token will come up here. Because these two are tied, and this is further back in time. So I'm going to do that, remove this event. That goes away. No item to get here, but we're just maintaining.
You could use all of these, or most of these, to just put you out of the phase.
Well, here's the thing. Regardless of how we do it, even if I remove this event, we're still going to get one at a time.
But I still haven't gone.
Right.
And I could potentially remove one.
Well, yeah. So what were you going to do on your turn? What are you going to do?
I don't know.
What I'm saying is So you've got two fluxes. You've got a wrench.
A fist and a wrench.
So you could come down here with a flux. Use your wrench to move over here.
Yep. Punch him in the face.
Punch him in the face. And then use the wrench here to clear this event. Do we really want to use a wrench, though, for that?
I would say...
Do we want to use... You want to save the wrench token for the...
Actually, you know...
It doesn't matter. I mean...
How about I just end up there?
Yeah, and then hopefully you get a wrench for the next turn. You can also turn in 2 items with Mr. Fusion to get a wrench. If you are lucky enough to roll 2 of the same.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so I'll just spend these 3 and just lay them there.
Okay, and that leaves you with a flux capacitor. So there's nothing to do there, I guess?
Yeah.
So, alright. So now we advance the out-of-time marker. Out of the 2, this one's 1, this is 1. Goes up 1, paradox goes. That's why I ended my turn here, so we could address that.
Yeah.
Pass first player over here. Alright, 1885. Give me something here. Biff steals a DeLorean, the Skyway.
Oh, jeez.
There we go. Doc falls in love with Clara.
Yay.
1885 Schoolhouse, which is over here. And lastly, lightning strikes the clock tower at 10:04 p.m. this Saturday night. 1955 clock tower. So I'm going to have my work cut out for me here. Actually, we've got a lightning bolt and a Doc Brown. We've got the lightning bolt, so I think I could clear this if I roll well. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. Okay, so I got a wrench, a lightning bolt, Doc Brown, and another wrench. This is great.
All right.
This is great.
Here's what I'll do.
I
will use these as a flux and come all the way up here. Oh, wait.
Do we want... well, yeah, we don't even... Do we want to still try and complete it? Well, here's the thing. Do you have enough to complete this?
Yes, if I use one of these.
What would you use? The wrench?
The wrench to move over, and then these 2 to complete it.
I'd say go for it. Yeah, once we return this last item, it's the game over.
Wrench.
Yeah.
And this is done.
All right. Well, it's not done. You keep it. Oh yeah, the event. I'm sorry. Yeah, the event is done. You get the item, which is the makeshift skateboard, 1955. Which I need to clear this for you. So here I go. I'm going to clear that event for you, and then we can blast off into the future. Whatever. So I'm going to use first I got to use a
biff.
I got to use this punch to get him out of there.
That's fine.
Or I have a wrench. Well, let's see what I can use without using these. If I use the wrench to move him out, that leaves me with a Doc and a lightning bolt, which I can use to complete these 2.
Nice. And then you have to move the heck out.
I'm going to use my wrench to move the heck out.
Okay.
So these are gone. No items drawn. My last wrench, I'm just going to move. I'm going to use it as a flux to move down here, just to get out of your way.
Okay.
All right. And now we look at this. We move the audit time up by 2. Each one gets a paradox.
Oh, really? If they're in the same year, that's nasty.
So this is going to get nasty, but we're going to win soon. So now we draw 3 events. Doc invents the flux capacitor in 1955 at the Brown Mansion. High School Valley.
Oh my gosh, no more 1955s, please.
Doc Brown builds the DeLorean again. Some of these are repeats.
Alright, cool.
Alright, so all you need to do is get there.
Yep.
Alright, I've got 2 fists and 2 lightning bolt symbols.
Oh, nice. Okay.
You've got to move a
Perfect.
flux. Oh, good. Okay, so there you go. Well,
just
I'm the
these two.
first player.
Yep.
I'm just gonna use a lightning bolt to move here. Use this as a wrench, these 2 fists, to just clear this event. I mean, it doesn't matter. And I'm not going to worry about the last die. So now it's your turn.
Alright, so I'm going to use my flux to go down here.
Okay.
And then I'm going to use, let me see. I'm going to use...
Are you kidding me right now?
Actually, wait, hold on.
Use your movement.
I'm going to use, hold on, forget it. I'm going to use both my fluxes to use it as a fist and move Biff. I'm just kidding.
You're hurting me right now.
I'm just kidding. Flux down there, arrow to
Okay.
go over here and return my item.
And that's it? And we saved the universe as we know it.
Alright, we get a bonus
Or
item.
at least this particular space-time continuum.
Okay.
So what did you think of this?
I loved this game. I'm a bit sad about how limited the dice are, but I do like that we can spend. I like the any and I like the Mr. Fusion. That was cool.
Yeah, I think without the any, like having to, you have a 1 in 6 chance of moving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like you need a way to move your DeLorean left and right as the game progresses. We got lucky. This is a game that would snowball very quickly.
Yes.
It's like Pandemic.
My gosh.
Where, if you can stay ahead of everything, great. But if you let too many things pop up and go unchallenged, then this thing is going to climb very quickly.
Yeah.
Having 3 events at a location with 3 paradox tokens, that's 6. Like, it's bad.
Yeah, we were very lucky this game, and plus your big brain helped.
I don't know about that. We also played easy mode.
Ah, yes.
We could have had 3 more cards or 4 more cards.
I think like
1, 2, 3, 4.
in 2 more turns, this would have gotten out of control.
Maybe I think we did pretty good. We had 3 tokens up here, Einstein, that we didn't use yet.
Yeah.
So I think we rolled well, and we stayed on top of everything very well. Again, this is our first game. Maybe we did something wrong, rules wise, but I think we did everything. I think one of the questionable things that we did was using a die and a token as a Mr. Fusion.
Oh.
But
I don't see how that could be.
I don't know if that's okay or not.
I don't know.
But as a house rule, I'm gonna allow it.
One thing I do want to say that I adore is the art. The outfits that are on these cars are just the cutest things
You've
ever.
got 1885. You've got Doc and Clara.
They're all different.
They're all different. Yeah.
And it's so cute. I love that. I think that's my favorite thing about the game.
You like it? Yeah. So here's the different art styles. You guys can see that.
I just love the Biff ones too. That is just so precious.
That's Mad Dog Tannen, though.
Yeah, that's
not Biff. That's Biff's ancestor, Mad Dog Tannen.
yeah. I mean, you can't really put a Biff in.
I know, but it says Biff Start. I'm just saying, like, technically.
That's his granddaddy probably named Biff, isn't he? Like
his name was Mad Dog Tannen.
His first name was not Mad Dog.
I know, but that's what they called him. He hated
But it was probably Biff.
Maybe. Maybe it was Biff. Maybe I'm just incorrectly remembering. Maybe I'm wrong. I've watched Back to the Future 3 several times.
Maybe.
And maybe I just missed it.
Maybe they just like never said it. But it was implied that he was a...
No, Buford. Buford was his name. Buford Mad Dog Tannen.
Well,
it was not Biff.
There you go.
Well,
Biff
there you go.
Biff is short.
Buford.
Biff is short for Buford. Biff.
We can't hold up. I was gonna quote something from the movie. I'm like, you know what? No one wants to hear this.
Sorry. That's funny.
Tomorrow we're robbing the Pine City stage. What about Monday? We doing anything Monday? No, you can kill him Monday.
Okay. Well, thank you folks for joining our game.
How did you like it? You liked it?
I did like the game. This was fun.
I liked it. It's very, very 80s neon.
I would put like
Pink, orange, blue.
I would put all the stacks how many were there? Like 10 stacks for each year?
Five items per year.
Alright, I would double that.
My goodness.
I'm just kidding.
I like though that even though it's not stated in the rule book, for kids that want to play this and don't have a strategic mind yet, 1 item card per year.
That's cool.
It makes the game super easy, but for a casual gamer family that's learning how to play, that could be like the tutorial mode. You know what I mean?
That's like quick mode too.
Yeah, quick mode. Yeah, so it's not in the rule book, but I'm saying, hey, it's your game, you play how you want. So I would say if you want a super, super easy game, do 1 card for each year. Or, to learn how to play, do 2 cards, 2 out of 4. And just return 2 items. And, just saying, obviously you're probably going to win, but, if you're new to this game and these kind of games make you nervous and they overwhelm you, then you could do something like that.
I do like that you can do a lot of things with the game. Like you can add 2 if you really want to make it challenging. You can completely take those out. You can.
Or when you return an item, draw 2 Einstein tokens. Or you can draw less events per turn. If you're not good at managing in games like this. Like in Pandemic, and if I wanted easier in Pandemic, I'd draw less infection cards every round.
Put 2 biffs on the chicken.
That's what all 4 at the same Biff implosion, Biff inception.
What was it? It's a time paradox.
It is.
Just like implode. It's fine.
Good job. So yeah, use less event cards if you want to make it easier. You use less item cards. Draw more Einstein tokens whenever you return an item. You can make the game, you can modify it any way you want to make it easier, even though the rules don't tell you that. I can clearly see it as a way to do it. And you can even, another way to make the game easier, instead of counting the event cards that are at a location, only advance per every paradox token, as opposed to every per event and paradox. Just only count the paradox tokens, and then move the tracker up that way. If you want the game to be easier. It's going to break the balance of the game, but I'm just saying, new players to this, there are plenty of ways to modify this to make it easier. So I would play this again.
Definitely.
So there you go, folks. That was Back to the Future Dice Through Time. If you guys haven't already, subscribed to me on Twitch and YouTube. That way you can stay up to date with any new content I'm going to publish. This is Vince and Ida Lee. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Bye, guys.